Sometimes you have a lot of return data and you'd like to summarize that information. If you have, 60 months worth of, return data, looking at it is going to be difficult to sort of sort out what's going on here. This is where averaging comes in. And there are a couple of ways to compute averages. There's the arithmetic average, and then there's the geometric average. The arithmetic average is just the average return earned over a particular period. And this is going to be calculated the way you normally calculate return or calculate averages. The geometric average is an average compound return per year over a particular period. It turns out that the geometric average will be less than the arithmetic average unless all the returns are equal. So which is better? Well, the arithmetic average is overly optimistic for long horizons, while the geometric average is overly pessimistic for short horizons. Let's take a look here. The arithmetic average, which I will write as R sub A, is just add up all the returns for all t periods and just divide by t. So if you have 10 returns, you're just going to add up all 10 returns and divide it by 10. The geometric average, on the other hand, is a compounding. And so the geometric average, which I use R sub G to denote, is 1 plus RG raised to the tth power is going to be equal to 1 plus the return in the first period times 1 plus the return in the second period, all the way out to 1 plus the return times 1 plus the return in the tth period. To get the average, we have to get that t out of here, and we can do so by raising this to the 1 over t power. And if you do that, you have to do that to this side of the equation. Then we'll have 1 plus rg, the t will be gone here, and we subtract 1 from both sides. And so we're averaging using this formula rather than this formula. So let's take a look at an example. So we have these returns, 10, 11, minus 3, and 15%. And so if we want the arithmetic average, we just add them all up and divide by 4, and we get 8.25%. If we want the geometric average, we're going to add 1 to each one of these. So it's going to be 1.10 times 1.11 times 1 plus negative 0.03, which would be 0.97, so times 0.97 times 1.15, and then we're going to raise it to the 1/4 power and subtract 1, and we get 8.03. So that fact that we saw that the geometric average is always lower than the arithmetic average, unless they're all the same, and these are not all the same, holds true. If you have Excel, you can do the calculation there. And in fact, there are a couple of functions that will help you out. There's the average function for the arithmetic average, and there's a geomean function for the geometric average, but you have to do a little bit of adjusting here. So for the arithmetic average, we just go equals average, and we're just going to highlight these cells and close the parenthesis, and we get that 8.25%. If we want the geometric average, we have to add 1 to each one of these things. So equals 1 plus this. Okay, I could put this in decimal form if it makes people happy, or 1.10. Let me just copy that down. And so we have all the same numbers we had before. Now I could multiply them all together and then raise them to the 1/4 power, or I can use the geomean function. The geomean function will do that for me. Now you don't want to do it on these numbers. You do have to add the 1 there, but I'm going to say equals geo mean, and I'm just going to highlight these numbers here. And whoops, I forgot to subtract 1. So let me subtract 1 here. And I get this, and let me expand the decimal places. And you can see that, and let's make it a percentage. And again, I'll expand the decimal places. So we get 8.03%, which was what we got when we did it using the formula. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference here. That again, the geometric mean is lower than the arithmetic average, and you can see that you can use the geometric geo mean function so that you can save some steps, so you don't have to multiply each one of these together and then raise it to the 1/4 power and subtract 1. So it's kind of a useful function. And again, the arithmetic average, the average function, just adds them all up and divides by the number of observations. So I hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching.